is a question that was sent to me. I will come to it later during the meeting. So the core, the heart of our experience is silence. Which is the peace, the stillness, the great universal vacuum that is discovered within oneself as the peace and the love of being. So if we can simply rest, invite ourselves to resting, which is a sort of sinking into not knowing, being, not knowing, is not an activity. It is our true nature. That has no borders, no boundaries. No name, no age, no history, no destiny. So we invite ourselves to sinking deeper and deeper, resting in this moment without any doing. Whatever arises, no need to touch it, no need to do anything. Whichever way This body-mind vibrates this moment. To do nothing. A presence that is more of an absence. Empty presence. Presence that is this not knowing, which permeates the totality of our experience. In the heart of silence, in the heart of peace and stillness that bypasses the mind. There are no gates, nothing in the way. Out of that stillness, a vibration arises. Out of the heart of silence, a tremor arises. I remain as I am, like a solar flare may arise out of the sun. It does not diminish, nor does it augment the wholeness of being. No matter what occurs in your dreams, nothing is happening to that which you are. Nothing is happening to the totality, the wholeness of being. All my dreams are made out of myself. They arise out of the wholeness of being that I am. They arise out of myself. Without ever leaving me. I am the knower of all, the knower of that which is known. That which is known is intimately myself. Nothing ever leaves the totality of being, and nothing ever is added to it. Mind impressions, tremors, feelings, thoughts, local mind impressions may arise, none of which augments you or diminishes you. You experience yourself in your experience as your experience. It is an impression within the field, within the totality of being. Like watching a stream different currents within the stream different shapes, bubbles, splashing. The manifestations within the stream are not impacting upon the stream. There is one reality. nothing outside of it. There isn't an outside or an inside. Into the reality of being. One ocean. Currents within the ocean are like mind impressions, experiences. Fields of seeming activity within the ocean. In spite of the currents that may appear within the ocean, the ocean remains as it is, unconcerned, untroubled. For the ocean, there is nothing happening. All happenings, all events refer to an imaginary character. Nowhere to be found. Okay, well, we can use the rest of the time that's available to us to explore whatever questions, whatever sharing, whatever you want to look into together. So you have the option of unmuting your mic and turning on your video or not. But it's nice to see you if you do turn your video on. So any comments or questions?
Namaste, Magdi.
Hello, Maria. Hello.
Magdi, I live in a community here in Costa Rica, and one of the members of the community, she's a very young woman. She's in her mid-30s, and she's slowly dying of cancer. And the community is going through a lot of sadness and a lot of pain. And we talked about how best we can support us in this process as a community during this virus situation. So we're keeping our social distance and talking about having women's circles and whatnot. And I was just wondering if you could help with some ways that you think we could support her and the community in this process.
Yes. When we meet, without bringing with us the past, our ideas, our beliefs, our feelings. When we meet in transparency, as transparency, when we meet in presence, as presence, we touch each other's heart in a way that transcends anything we may say or do. And when we are meeting in presence, without the past, without our ideas and beliefs and thoughts about all sorts of things, then what we speak, what we share, and what we do reflects the presence, the peace. The peace within does not stay within, it radiates through you. It doesn't need words, but it could speak. It doesn't need any action, but it could touch, embrace. The seeming other is a current within the ocean as yourself. Current may flow with a certain form, in a certain manner, or it may dissipate and become a lesser and lesser of a current and faint, dissolving into the ocean where there was a current a minute ago or previously. There is no current, but it's still the ocean. The reality of the current and all currents, all body-mind impressions, is the totality, the wholeness of being, the intimacy of being, the transparency, the universality of being, the love that we are, that everything is. So we live with that understanding, contemplating this understanding, nurturing this understanding, as best we can. That is the best support that you can provide to your friend, whether you are capable, whether there is a possibility of meeting in person or not. It is the peace that emanates through you that invites and facilitates the relaxation in the seeming other. Not so much any trying to do anything or personal concerns. That's not very helpful. So whether you are meeting with friends in women's circle or other ways that you are approaching this how you are and what you take yourself to be in this moment. Am I the stream of thoughts that are seemingly defining me? Am I the feelings that seemingly define me? Where and as what do I take my stand? There is available to all of us in this moment this borderless aware presence that does not belong to anyone, that is, that when we say when I say I, it is I, this aware presence, it is referring to itself. Borderless, formless, the reality of being. There is one being, one reality. It has no name and it goes by all names. It has no form or shape and it goes by all forms and shapes. It is not known as any mind, and yet it is known as all minds. It's a living presence. It lives itself freshly moment by moment. Without ever becoming anything else, but remaining as it is, remaining as the transparency of being. The one being, one heart, one truth, one reality. So I remain open, meaning recognize the openness. Notice within the body the sensations, to allow them to be. They already are, but they recognize their freedom and invite them to their full freedom, their full liberation, their full expression. Nothing in the way, moment by moment.
Mm.
There is contagion, is that the right word? Contagious. Presence and peace is contagious. What a word, contagious. Interesting. Means so is
Maybe more so than the virus.
yes, that is absolutely.
Yes, Magdi, as I listen to your words, it is remaining as presence moment to moment and not bringing the baggage. There's just so much spaciousness. It feels very light, and there might be currents of emotions, of sensations that we might call emotions or energy emotion. But they feel very, very much on the surface, like you say, like rippling, just rippling.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, beautiful.
Well, my love to your friend.
Thank you, Magdi. Like a sweetness.
Yeah. Beautiful, yes. Yes, absolutely.
In the midst of all the emotions.
Yes.
Mm.
Any question?
Hi, Magdi. It's Esther.
Hello, Esther.
Somebody sent me a YouTube clip of Muji giving a guided meditation. And during the time, he simply said, "Thank you," the whole meditation. And it was a lovely experience, but it brought up something that I'd like to ask you about. It's, I guess, gratitude and saying thank you has always been a little confusing to me because it feels like two. There's two. Even, and then I move from saying that or using that to a welcoming. But yet again, welcoming feels like it implies two. So perhaps you could talk about that a bit.
Mm-hmm. So, thank you or welcoming may seem as two, but their essence, their heart, their impetus is one. The word love is a sound. The word love is a sound. But, and one could say that the sound is dualistic, as a form. But what that sound, love, refers to is beyond words. Gratitude in a way is gratitude for everything and everyone. Gratitude also may seem to be dualistic as a sound, as an expression. But what it refers to is from the heart. It's what it refers to is beyond words, beyond the mind, beyond language. When you say I love you, even these words, they are dualistic in a way. But again, what they refer to is beyond the words, is beyond me and you. They refer to being love, being. They refer to the absence of separation, the absence of duality. It's like we say, when the clouds part, we see the sky, there is the sky. But the word sky doesn't refer to something, an object, something called sky. It refers to reality. In the metaphor, sky refers to reality. Reality is unexpressible. It's beyond words. And although it is beyond words, it is expressed it is felt, it is shared. There is a manifestation aspect to truth. And there is the stillness aspect. Being together here in satsang is an expression of love and gratitude and acknowledgement. It seems to be dualistic. One could say it is dualistic. But it's an expression of the divine. It's an expression of the unmanifest. So, in a way, we could say thank you to everything and everyone. And in fact, there is no one to say thank you to anyone or to anything. And yet I cannot deny that my heart is full of gratitude for so much. Also for Francis. That he did nothing and I did nothing. So it's gratitude expressed from God to God, you know. It's not from man to God or from man to man. So, yes, the deepest gratitude, the expression, the purest expression of gratitude is from heart to heart. It's being knowingly oneself, which is the universal self. And yet, it's sweet sometimes to, in this dream, to say hello. Thank you for your lovely company. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your thoughtfulness. Like a bird lands on the branch and sings, and you are delighted by the song of the bird. It's not dualistic. And I love listening to the birds singing.
Thanks so much, Magdi. That's lovely. I love the thank you is God to God. I like that. Thank you.
Hello, Andrew. I see me. Let's see if I can unmute you. I think I can. Yes.
I think I, okay.
Yes, Andrew.
Let me,
So how, you can put your hand up. How do you do that? Is there
so I'm on like a Chromebook, which is basically like a phone, a big phone.
Oh, cool.
There's just an option to do it. I don't know how to do it on like another, like a regular.
Okay. So anyways, that's interesting that I've seen that before where somebody can put their hand up. Oh, yes. Okay. Hello, Andrew.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to start my video, but oh, there it goes. Okay.
Okay.
Hello. So somewhat ironically, I want to start off by saying thank you. Earlier in the week, I had a question about feeling like loss of control.
Yes.
And so I had asked you about it, and then I was thinking about the answer, and then I happened to watch. Of course, I went down a YouTube rabbit hole about like free will and determinism and stuff, and it just sunk in.
So can you repeat that last thing you said?
Everything that I had been like about it. Yeah, so I had like followed up and done my own. I watched some videos on like free will and determinism after I asked you that question, and everything you said and some other folks had said, it just sunk in for me.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just this recognition that my free will, my feeling of free will is, of course, God's free will. It just sunk in for me. It just kind of clicked.
Mm.
And it basically removed a whole lot of like secondary suffering, like suffering about my suffering, because there's no blame anymore. Like there's no, there's no, it's like if I'm suffering, that's the only way that it could be. But, and so like there's a recognition like that's okay. But of course, anytime I have a, I feel like I make some progress, that there's always like something deeper that, comes to the surface, and I work on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like, so I'm struggling with something again that like I continually have been struggling with for years now. And it's related to like the primary suffering. So the suffering that just this kind of comes up, like the thoughts about whatever. It feels like a lot of like, I don't know how to say this, but there's like a lot of stuff felt in the body. There's a lot of like emotion that's held in the body, and it's expressed in negativity in a lot of different ways in my life. And so when I'm meditating, I notice this. I notice like a thought will come up about I don't know whatever, and I notice there'll be a feeling associated with it, and I focus my attention kind of on that feeling, but I can't seem to penetrate that. I can't seem to get into that feeling, because one of two things will happen. Either there'll be some sort of energetic sensation in my body that'll be completely distracting to me, and it becomes more and more intense. It becomes too intense, or I'll drift off into like sleepiness,
Mm-hmm.
Which I know is like a common thing. So I feel this tension in my body, and I know I have this intuitive sense that in order to kind of resolve whatever is causing this suffering, I need to go into the body, but I can't seem to do it after years, and I haven't really made no progress in being able to do that. So I'm not sure if you can advise me on how to pay attention to my body, and go into those sore spots, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's unavoidable as we're living with the belief that I'm this body mind, I'm this person, I'm somebody's son or daughter, and I've got to, in this world, I've got to make it, and I've got to, I'm the body. It's unavoidable as a body mind, identified as a body mind.
Okay.
It's unavoidable to have that psychological aspect of our belief system, for it to sort of inhabit our body in ways that are unhappy, in some sort of something that flares up every now and then. And even when it doesn't flare up every now and then, there is this sort of this like a hum, this sense of unease or something. It's something that's just that I just can't put my finger on it, but it's something is
Yes.
yeah, it's
I totally know what you mean.
comes, it's together, it expresses itself, of course, in different ways for different body minds. But it's unavoidable it's a package in a way. And when we sort of start to look in that direction, it's very common that there would be some sort of strategies, the strategies to sort of, because we're there interested now, but it's strategies to distract us, to sleepiness or some other thoughts. This is sort of, about work, about I need to cook something, I need to, whatever, that's something to distract us. The distraction, this tendency of this pull that wants to take us away from coming closer to that is part of the way that I maintain my sense of being somebody. Because if I succeed at getting to the core of these sensations, I will find that there is more and more peace over there. Yeah. Meaning less and less for me to do, less and less for the separate self, this me to do. And I know that, I have an intuition of that. So I don't want to go there. I want to go there, but I want to go there. I want to go there, but no, I'm sleepy, or I'm thinking about, my girlfriend, my work, my whatever.
Yeah.
So now, in the long run, our interest, what is our passion, is what is going to guide us, is what is going to so our interest is in peace, in truth, in happiness. We have this inner intuition about that. And we know, we can sense and we can experience that there is a field within us of that stirring. And we know that we need to go there. We need to be in touch with that. And so that is our interest. And no matter what strategies the mind is going to develop, is going to take you into sleepiness. It's going to take you into other distractions, but it's also going to piss you off. It's going to also piss you off because that's not what really you want to do. You're not that much interested in sleepiness. You're not that much interested in thinking about, tomorrow or yesterday. You're interested in this business. What's going on here? Mm-hmm. So at the same time as it's succeeding at taking you away, it's also pissing you off. It's also failing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, so you come back. You keep coming back. You come back and you raise this question. Say, hey, look, this is what's going on. Basically, this distraction strategies aren't working. You're looking now, what is the way around this? In terms of exploring, sensing, or connecting with the inner agitation or activity, let's say, it is more of a relaxing into it, relaxing into being, relaxing, sort of just sinking deeper and deeper into being, relaxing, being. It's sort of more of a non-doing than a doing. It's as if, you know, there's, as if the base is heavy, and it's just the base keeps, like you're filling something with sand. It's sort of, it's gets heavier in the bottom. It sort of sinks in. It's a sinking in, and it's at the same time, it's like a diffusing. It's a sinking in and a diffusing. I don't know if I could like draw it. It's like, it's as if it goes down and flows like that. So it's a sinking in. And it's not a searching or a looking. It's just an alertness, a quiet, still alertness. But it's an alertness that doesn't know what it's being alert to. It's just alert. It's just alert because you're interested in alertness. You're interested in not interested in distraction. So it's being empty, being emptiness. It's not forcing anything. It's not like that. It's not getting rid of stuff. It's resting. So in this resting, there is an increased transparency, because resting is sort of a non-activity. And the non-activity is more like a vacuum. It's more of a vacuum than elements, than various elements that are moving in the space. It's not a forced vacuum. And in this non-activity, there is a noticing. A butterfly flies by, there's a noticing of a flutter. An itch arising, there is a noticing of an itch, and there is a noticing of a need to scratch, and there's a noticing of the thought that's saying, gee, what is it that's itching me? And there is another thing that of the thought that says, gee, that's going to distract me from my meditation. Is a noticing. Noticing is neutral. And is a noticing that, okay, gee, you know, the thought of a thought, possibly a thought, this is going to be bothering me from my meditation. And then there is a deeper noticing. It says, bothering whom? Bothering me. What is this me that's being bothered? Oh, so I look at that. What is this me? And see that, and there's no me. It's just a thought, an idea, a feeling, a belief, whatever that says me is bothering me. It's bothering me. I'm me. Is a noticing, and noticing can get deeper and deeper and deeper into what's behind.
Yeah.
Behind the sensation, because first the sensation will arise. You know, oh, it's an itch. And then you may, just by remaining still, notice that there is something else besides the itch that's saying, I shouldn't scratch it, I should not move. I'm maybe projecting, because I did a lot of, where you could not move. You know, you had to sit for 45 minutes, no moving. And you know, you want to move, you want to scratch it. You want to scratch an itch. Anyways, whatever form it takes, whatever form your meditation takes.
Yeah. I think maybe after hearing you speak, I think maybe I'm being, there's too much doing. Like I notice an uncomfortable sensation in the body, a heaviness or a tension, and I think I'm just like too trying to do something about it.
Yes. It's
not like, as you just described, it's not a relaxing into it. It's like a.
Yes. So the doing is a sort of avoiding, okay? Yes. So because doing means like, I don't want to know you. I already have to find you. You're the big bad wolf, and I'm going to shoot you with my golden arrow.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what doing is. Doing is a form of avoidance. This is one of the activities by which I maintain myself away from being.
Yes. Right. Okay. Yeah, I've lost sight of that for sure. Okay. Thank you. That's helpful. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. There is a question that was sent to me, so I'll take this opportunity now to read it. So, hi Magdi, following your non-dual teaching happily, and I notice how there is no one else out there. Has a huge collapsing of the dynamics. There is no one else out there. Has a huge collapsing of the dynamics. For example, worrying what others think about me. If there is no one out there, I am only witnessing one substance, one unfolding. And this is very freeing. Thank you, Suzanne. Yes. Yes. So, well, this is nice. You know, it's nice to come to freedom from worrying about what others think about me. And yes, the contemplation that there is no one out there. It can start with, sometimes we hear that in the teaching, we hear that there is no external, no reality to the external world, no reality to somebody out there. The thing to comprehend is that although there are separate minds, meaning separate points of views, separate focal locations of minds, there is only one consciousness. So when we say in the teaching, there is no one out there, we are basically saying there is only one reality, one I, one consciousness. We are not referring to minds, we're referring to the reality of being. We're referring to consciousness, being, awareness. When we say I, we are not referring to the mind. By the mind, we're referring to perceptions, sensations, mentations. We're referring to the content of experience. But when we are saying I, we are referring to the transparency of being. And the transparency of being, or awareness, presence, knows itself directly. It is itself. It knows itself as being itself. And it knows itself as borderless, meaning universal presence. Not contained in any particular body mind, not dependent on experience, not dependent on any object, not dependent on the brain. That which perceives is not an object, although there is an instrument of perception and of world perception, of mind perception, such as the brain. The perceiver is not an object. I is not an object. So when we say the other, it depends whether we are referring to another mind, and yes, then there are other minds. There are 7 billion other minds and more animal minds and other minds. But if by I we're referring not to mind, but to consciousness, then yes, there is no other. So in a way, you have to sort of marry both aspects, that there are other minds, and mind to mind relationship, there are ways of relating that are inspired by the understanding that there is only one reality. And this understanding affects the mind, transforms the mind, makes the mind, let's say, inspired by love, inspired by truth, inspired by sincerity, inspired by honesty, inspired by fairness. So the understanding of consciousness affects the mind and the behavior and the experience. And in the realm of minds, there are other minds. There are other people that you relate with in various ways. The more harmonious ways, the better off it is for everybody. But when you experience that there is something coming at you, there is something at stake, which is quite different from somebody standing on your foot. Because if somebody's standing on your foot, that's not something coming at you. It's something sort of affecting your body or your mind, and then you can act. But when you sense something coming at you, meaning affecting your peace, affecting your happiness, then you are perceiving from the perspective that consciousness is a body-mind, is an object, is a form that can be affected, the happiness of which depends on somebody else. So whenever we're experiencing jealousy or anger or envy, which means whenever we're experiencing unhappiness, we're experiencing unhappiness because our comprehension of I is blurred at that moment. We are experiencing ourselves as somebody, and we are experiencing that one consciousness as divided into consciousness A and consciousness B. There is an external reality to my reality. Whenever you assume the position that I am a personal body-mind, at that moment, infinite other body-minds arise to you as external realities to consciousness. So just to summarize very quickly, although there are external minds to your mind, and there is no issue with that, whenever there is an external reality to your reality, whenever there is an external consciousness to your consciousness, whenever you are a particular body mind and somebody else is a body mind, then you are in the muddy waters. You are worried about what others think about you, and so on. But I'm glad to see that you're experiencing a freedom via the understanding that there is no one out there. There is no separate consciousness. There is no separate reality outside of the reality of being, which has no name, no age, no gender, no owner. Any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, Zoe.
First, today when you said body-mind impression, that really hit. Like, there's not even a body-mind. It's just this wispy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, but then there was something I wanted to ask. And I don't have the exact words, but it's something Ramana Maharshi had written, that the mind has to become one-pointed in order to do self-inquiry. And in a way, I think you were explaining it when you were talking with Andrew. But that I was just wondering if you could talk about that. Mm-hmm. The mind being one-pointed, because he says if it disperses in thoughts, then it becomes weak, and it has to be strong in order to cut through itself.
Yes. So you could say that, as a metaphor, that the mind is like a puppy, a new puppy. You have a puppy, and the puppy goes everywhere in the house and bites at everything and pee-pees everywhere and jumps on every couch and wants to play with everything and wants to turn everything upside down, you see. And so you makes sense that you get a puppy bed or puppy pillow, and you bring the puppy bones and to play with particular object rather than the feet of all your tables and your couches. And so there is a sort of a training of the mind, because the mind wanders in memories, wanders in experiences. It seeks to repeat experiences. It looks in its archives. It files and classifies various experiences, and it pulls the folders here and there on occasion and goes through the folders to sort of relive certain experiences. And also, the puppy, to sort of And that, I mean, in the metaphor, all metaphors are limited, but teach a puppy that you are the one. You know, you are the keeper of the dog, the caretaker of the puppy. You are the source of love and affection for the puppy, etc. So the puppy has to also get an understanding. Oh, this is where I can get my caresses. This is where I can get my yummy food. This is where I can get petted and loved and kissed, and you know, I can fall asleep in this person's lap, and I like that. That feels good. So in this realm, we get glimpses of the happiness and the love that we have an intuition of. So we all have an intuition of the love and the happiness, but we get a glimpse. The glimpse, although the puppy is looking for happiness everywhere in all, running throughout the whole house, every now and then the puppy gets a glimpse that, oh, the happiness, there is one source of the happiness which they can always count on, which is you. So when we get a glimpse, it gives us a direction of sort of an arrow, pointing arrow. It points in this direction. So the intuition that we have about the peace and the happiness that we are seeking in our life, we get a sense, it is inward. We need to look at what is this beliefs and these ideas that I'm living by, those ideas and those beliefs. And then we realize that the mind is the chaos of the mind. Because until we get a glimpse of, that gives us the direction, the correct direction, we are following the mind. Oh, maybe it's in traveling, maybe it's in having a new partner, maybe it's having a bigger house or whatever. We're following the mind, which is very random. And but the glimpse aligns all our tendencies and our activities towards in one direction, and that direction is what we are, the reality of being. So the mind that was random gets more aligned. It's more of an alignment. And although we do get scattered again here and there, although the tendencies of seeking peace and happiness in a substance or in an experience or in a relationship, although these tendencies may arise again, the alignment of the mind strengthens, keeps strengthening. Because whenever the tendencies scatter the mind again, as I was sharing with Andrew, again, we don't get satisfaction, and it strengthens our resolve. It brings us back to looking deeper and closer and further. So the single pointedness of the mind. And again, I'm just speaking my own version of it, not how Ramana meant it, because I never really experienced being with Ramana or was with him to speak in more resonance with what he meant, but how it's meaning to me. I do not feel that the single-mindedness is a forceful single-mindedness. It's a single-mindedness that sort of unfolds within us out of the glimpses that align our interests, align our love for truth in the direction of the reality of being that which I am. So I would say that there is maybe a long phase of non-alignment. And then there is a phase of single pointedness and scatter, single pointedness and scatter. And the frequencies of the single pointedness will increase, and the frequencies of the scatteredness will decrease. And the duration of the single pointedness will also increase, and the duration of the scatteredness of the mind will decrease, until you will find that there is, one could say, single-mindedness, and across the board, with here and there some deviation. And it is the single-mindedness, meaning the passion. I think Francis talks about becoming a truth lover. First, we're interested in truth, and at some point we become a truth lover, where there is nowhere else that there is nowhere else we want to go, nothing else that interests us more than that, and that everything in our experience, we keep returning it to that contemplation, to come to that understanding. So, although one could say that this single-mindedness is needed, I would say that this single-mindedness is unavoidable. It is at some point, it becomes like that. It becomes effortless. Our interest in truth becomes love, and when you love, you never forget your lover, no matter where you are. You are one with your lover in love. You are one with the loved one. In love, there are not two. And this is the sacred love. The love of truth is the sacred love. And of course, it manifests in loving a friend, loving a partner, loving a pet, or loving your garden. But all love is just a reflection of the holy love, which is the love of truth. Like all the reflections of the light onto the earth and onto the river and onto the lakes is the reflection of the one light, which is the sunlight.
Thank you, Magdi. That totally cleared it up. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, well, it's a good time to say thank you all. Very lovely to be with you. Holly, lovely to see you. And Kate, and Zoe, Raquel, Frederick, Jenny, hola, Jenny. And Kelly, Andrew, lovely to see you, Andrew and Maria, and John, Shiva, Elsa, Elsa, and Rin. Nice to see you, Rin, and Jamie, and John, and Frederick. Thank you all.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you. Thank you.